she was trying to mind screw her.
For you to scroll through while she goes and takes a dookie?
I don't know if we needed to use the term dookie. Is he
To
gonna
show
up in this next round of episodes with cornrows? Hear ye, hear ye. We are back with another recap of a Netflix reality show.
Best one in years, in my opinion. Since Chicago Love is Blind.
That's saying a lot. Chicago Love is Blind was the best season, and Love is Blind is nothing compared to the Ultimatum. We're talking about the first and second drops of the Ultimatum because we were a little late to starting the watching session.
I think that they did everything that we needed Love is Blind to do, only better. They had the secret cameras
The secret cameras were everything. Over the past few seasons of Love is Blind, they have not been capturing anything that's been happening, and so for the Ultimatum, they were like, we're gonna come correct. We're gonna put Ring cameras up in the apartments, and they captured so much stuff on those cameras.
That was the best stuff, and I think for me, that was the moment where I perked up every time. When the Ring camera started, that's when I was like, shit's happening.
Oh my God, I am so excited. Or no, I'm not excited. I'm actually deeply disturbed and sad to talk about Nick's many mental breakdowns on that Ring camera, but we'll get there. There was just a lot happening, and I'm very excited to recap it all right now.
Let's start with Mariah.
Ooh, Mariah, my sister's namesake.
She's a sweetheart. I think she has a tough past and carries around a lot of baggage, but she's sweet. I think she means well.
She means well. That being said, she reacted to this show the same way that I would have reacted if I were ever on the Ultimatum, which is why I would never go on a show like this. I would be an anxious wreck, and I can just feel her anxiety every single time.
Yeah, the anxiety, the insecurities, things that a lot of us deal with day to day, it was just really brought out. And the fact that she didn't get the full experience, she's just kind of sitting in her own thoughts, day in and day out, while others are being at least distracted by a partner of their own, whether good or bad.
Yeah, and I think what we saw from Caleb is that he would be a very good listening partner for her. And yet, when it came down to it, he was kind of over her shit, it seemed like. Maybe because she was bringing it up too much.
I think he also got a taste of what it was like to not have someone who needed to voice all of their thoughts into his ear. Like, Aria wasn't a person that needed to talk everything through. She was like, okay, we're good. We could be better here. Let's move on. And I think he really enjoyed that fact. And so going back to Mariah was, a little shocking having to hear the same conversation happen again and again and again. But she was just trying to get some clarity. I resonate with Mariah a lot.
I 100% understand where she was coming from. If my man was off with some other girl, and Aria was mind fucking Mariah. She was trying to in the words of New York, Tiffany Pollard, she was trying to mind screw her.
She got mind screwed by me, and it worked.
Honestly, Aria and Caleb look really good together.
They looked really good together, and it seemed like he was kind of downplaying the situation with Aria to make it sound like he was being more respectful to Mariah, which is understandable. You don't want to hurt her feelings even more than she already is hurt. But I feel like he was kind of downplaying it.
I think he was being a good guy for Mariah, but he's kind of sacrificing his own happiness potentially by not pursuing Aria more.
I just feel like the softness that we saw in him when he was with Aria aligns with Mariah. And I'm just confused as to why he couldn't give that. He just sounded like such a good listener and so chill and calming and just like a good force to be around when you're an anxious person, and then Mariah didn't get it.
I think that Aria needs someone soft.
But speaking of what Aria needs, we have to talk about Scotty. Scotty terrified me.
Aria, you need to drop Scotty instantly. He is self-conscious enough to diagnose himself on camera, and they put that in there. The dude has never been told no growing up. The dude, got what he wanted, and he has a problem not getting what he wants.
Right, and at first you're like, this is so ridiculous. Like, it kind of seems like he's being sarcastic a little bit, so you're like, is he joking? He is not fucking joking. He's serious, and I'm sorry, but the look in his eyes, ladies, comment below. I feel like if you know this look, you know it. It was like dead eyes. Like, his eyes would go black in the middle of conversations with her when he was confronting her about things, and he would just like look up at her so creepily.
I think the first time we saw it was after guys' night when he was confronting her about JR.
Yes.
And I think that instant right there, I was like, you got to get the hell out of there.
And I think that was when she started to realize that he was a little unwell.
She never forgave him for that. much. I think she held on to that going on and throughout the rest of the experiment. I think she held that in the back of his head, and we saw it blow up when they were getting ready to switch back partners because she left a day early.
Yeah, he's sitting on the toilet doing God knows what in the bathroom, being like, well, you're getting up at 3 a.m. and taking your phone to the bathroom. I'm sorry, why are you fucking tracking her at 3 a.m.? It's just very odd behavior.
And she doesn't owe you nothing. She doesn't owe you the ability to leave her phone unlocked on the nightstand next to you at 3 a.m. for you to scroll through while she goes and takes a dookie.
I don't know if we needed to use the term dookie on this video, but the point is that Scotty is a little unhinged. I would say he is definitely the villain of this season.
Even that little breakup when he was sitting when he was sitting on the toilet like cleaning and talking about like he was the major gaslighter. I don't think I've ever seen a more consistent gaslighting like definition, and in multiple situations, including with Arya, he takes the very thing that he's being accused of and then accuses his partner of that exact same thing. And it's so obvious.
Yeah, he's awful. I cannot believe that he was the one who gave the ultimatum because this man is not ready for marriage. I think he needs therapy.
I think Zaina was very sweet. I think Zaina was good for communicating. I think she was definitely going above and beyond when cooking for him and making these full-ass spreads. And she was...
Zaina's a good person.
But I was waiting the entire time when Scotty and Arya got back together for her to ask him, what did he learn in his trial marriage that he's going to implement in their new future? But she never asked that.
She didn't. And I think that she is like kind of hung up on Caleb, as she should be, because if I had been in her position and I went from Caleb back to that hell nightmare of dating Scotty, I would be having major regrets. The wheels would be turning.
Again, I think that she's destined to be with Caleb.
I think she is too. I think Scotty is right. For once, he's right. Like, I can't believe that Caleb would only see you as a friend. I can't believe it either, honestly. That's the one thing Scotty and I agree on. And speaking of Scotty being unhinged, I think one of his major plot points was coming for JR after JR confronted him for allegedly talking shit. And you know what? I gotta say, this is another thing that I think Scotty got right if he did say that, because I do think that JR is on the show for a hall pass.
I don't necessarily think he's there for the hall pass. I do think that he's there for the business of being on reality shows to try and elevate his personal training career and, lift up his income. I think that he has real reservations about getting married before he is fully solidified in his career based off of his childhood.
I completely agree that that is a valid reasoning for not wanting to get married. However, based on his selection of person, I think that he wanted to fuck.
Yeah, okay.
He was thinking with his dick.
He didn't come on the show for the hall pass, but he definitely chose Sandy for the hall pass. And I think he got bamboozled. She was playing Arya saying,
She was, yes.
I'm just here trying to make your man get you better and treat you better. At the same time, she's telling JR, I'm here for you, everything you have, we have together, what's yours is mine. That was fake.
And you think that she's not gonna watch the show and see you coming onto her man several times?
I also think they fucked.
I think they fucked too.
That night after the pool, when they went into the bedroom, closed the door,
1,000,000%.
drinking some champs, going back to the room, closing the door, looking at that camera. JR made eye contact with that camera as he closed that door. And he just
did.
There is some mischievousness there.
As much as they want to pretend that they have a deep connection and their souls are intertwined and it's emotional, I'm not buying it.
And Bria, could you enlighten me a little bit on Sandy's perception of JR being some sort of player, hard outer shell? Because he never gave that off to me.
He has never gave hard outer shell. He has never doesn't give a fuck about anything, like hard to penetrate kind of person. I feel like a lot of the things she said were very microaggressive.
I think those are microaggressive comments coming from someone who doesn't spend a lot of time with people outside of her own community.
Exactly.
I think he is a big, strong guy, but I think that he has very clear emotional intentions for what he wants out of his life. And he's communicated that with, I think, most people very clearly.
I agree. And look, we don't know Sandy's life. I haven't even looked her up on Instagram. I don't know if she hangs out with black people. I don't know if she's dated black men before. I don't know her life. Maybe she meant something different. Maybe she saw something that wasn't on the show and he was being tough. I don't know. But my perception of it is that she just hasn't actually had a lot of deeper conversations with black men and expects them to be a certain way, and when they're not, she's surprised.
I think JR is a bit, what?
I think he's titty blind.
Okay, let's bring it over to the artist, Nick. If this man calls himself an artist one more goddamn time.
Let me do another disclaimer for this one. We have been clowning on Nick this entire time we've been watching the show. It honestly is very sad that he is like so emotionally disturbed, but he is so funny to me because he reminds me of that Riverdale clip that went viral where the guy's like, I'm a weirdo. I don't fit in. And I don't want to fit in.
No shame against artists, man. Like, I'm a photographer. Like, I don't necessarily label myself as an artist personally, but as is anything, especially when you're being recorded for live for television, national television,
international television,
be it, don't say it.
Show, not tell. As we learned in my high school creative writing class, if you are weird, if you're an artist, if you're creative, whatever you want to say, we will see it in your actions, and you don't have to say constantly, I'm an artist, I'm weird. Just be an artist and be weird.
And the Ultimatum is gonna have some deposit issues because when he was rage painting in which is the first time we figured out what his art was. He kept saying he was an artist and we were trying to figure out what type of art he was because he would never say it. There were splatters all over the walls. Like the dude didn't put a tarp up, he didn't do nothing. He just, flung paint at the wall, which, I've done. I've painted for a few years and I enjoyed that process. It was very cathartic for me personally. It was just really funny to see the paint on the walls when he was like going to like leaving the door or like leaving a room or something.
They are not getting that security deposit back. But Nick was crashing the fuck out. He was obsessed with JR.
I definitely think a lot of it has to do with the fact that she chose JR, but I think a huge part of it has to do with the fact that he's losing her, and he never really thought that he could lose someone.
Yeah.
They opted to be on the show, so it's all like,
Which Sandy will not let him forget. You brought me here.
Yeah, and I do think that was a little odd of him to bring her on the show, and I'm not sure why they needed to do that, but good reality TV show characters, so I'm happy that they were there.
And look, a lot of times, as we've learned, these Netflix shows recruit people. So it's not like they're applying necessarily to be on the Ultimatum. It could be just that they found Nick on Instagram and they were like, you have a hot girlfriend. Do you want to get married to her? Like, how long have you been together? Do you want to come on the show? And he probably assumed, yeah, like, she's not going to find anyone. Like, she loves me. Like, it's fine.
But I could sympathize with his, like, emotional breakdowns and all that, and, like, hyperfixating. Every conversation is about how he's hurt. And, whenever he got together with Mariah, all it was about him and how he's dealing with that.
Him and Mariah to hit it off and be a couple and be emotional together, and it was just him fucking complaining every second. Which is why she told Sandy, do not marry this guy, he is emotionally unstable. I think that him and Sandy it's another situation where like they do not work as a couple. I don't necessarily think that Sandy and JR long term would work as a couple either. I think that they have a lot of sexual chemistry, physical connection. Sandy and Nick have an emotional bond, but it almost feels like a little toxic.
It's toxic, but it's the devil you know. And I think JR and Sandy, it's the novelty of having what you've never had before.
I think that we should also talk about the couples that did not make it through the experiment, because what changed in the Netflix contract where you're just letting people walk off?
I mean, it's not a prison. People should be able to.
It was a prison at the beginning. Love is Blind. They threatened to charge you tens of thousands of dollars if you didn't make it to the aisle. What happened? I think that Vanessa and Nick were really good together, actually.
Vanessa and Nick would have been interesting, and that would have been a good thing for Nick to experience. I thought Chanel was super sweet, but I also think that she was being taken advantage by Dave, just kind of trauma dumping on her because she's a very sweet, listener.
Dave was another one who could not stop talking about
his ex.
Yeah, I think Dave got to her, honestly. It seemed like she was thinking about him and hurting by the whole situation, but I think that she would have seen it through. I think that Dave was a lot more disturbed than she was.
And not to step all the way back, but because we didn't talk about this at all, we have to talk about the absolute toxic behavior of Nick to Sandy, just calling her, looking outside the balcony, staring at them having dinner, which,
Girl,
you know,
the tattoo.
the tattoo getting what, love conquers all, or
No, he said that he was trying to do love conquers all, but he ended up doing fortune favors the bold, which is the same tattoo as JR.
and you're trying to tell me that that was a mistake when he put a stencil on your arm and you didn't look at the stencil at all to see that it was the right stencil that you wanted, the right tattoo?
Honestly, it was terrifying.
Honestly,
That was terrifying behavior.
I honestly don't know what to believe. Is he stalking? Is he trying to be more like JR to show her?
Is he
to
gonna
show
show
Sandy?
up in this next round of episodes with cornrows? I don't know. This is giving single white female. It's giving The Roommate with Leighton Meester and Mika Kelly. Did anyone watch that movie?
Not seen
Oh
it.
my god, it was so good. It's giving like you're trying to take his life because he took your girl, you're trying to become him. I can't believe we almost skipped over that. The tattoo was actually the craziest part, although I feel like showing up to their apartment, like figuring out which apartment was theirs and showing up to it, whether you found out through production or not, it is a major boundary violation.
I think production told him. I think they did that for the tea.
Maybe they did it for the tea, but it made him look fucking crazy.
Okay, do you think that Sandy is in the wrong for texting him, I miss you?
No, because when you're dealing with someone like that, you sometimes do things to kind of calm them down and like soothe them so that they don't continue to
Reassure
escalate.
them, yeah.
Yeah, he was escalating like crazy, blowing up her phone, texting her a ton, showing up places. She can't go out without worrying that he's watching her. I totally do not blame her for potentially texting him and being like, hey, I miss you. Like, it's almost over. Just be chill. We're going to get back together. It's fine. Just to keep him from doing more weird shit.
So the reason why I thought to bring this back up in the middle of the conversation was because I could totally see Dave being the same way with Vanessa.
Ooh, he was crashing out.
Chanel being with Micah is a very, I hate to say it because Chanel, I do think you are sweet, but that is a very boring couple.
They are boring, and honestly, I think it worked out for them to leave because there was nothing really going on there because they are so normal.
In this day and age, if you're going to be on a reality television show, do you think that there needs to be a level of hamming up by every individual who's going to be on the show?
You just have to think about like the past shows. Like think about Love is Blind. There's every single season there is a very stable, right from the jump, they get engaged usually the first episode because they have no fucking footage to work with, and we are bored to tears. I feel like in real life you reward emotional maturity, but on reality TV it doesn't really get you that far.
Yeah.
So what are you thinking is going to happen?
Ooh, are we doing predictions?
Yeah, let's do predictions for the final shebang.
Okay, let's start with Aria.
Arya, I think, is
And
going
Scotty.
to get back with Scotty, unfortunately.
I think she will not get back with Scotty. I think he is too emotionally immature to go through this. And I think Aria, I want you to have the backbone to step away. Okay, Mariah and Caleb.
I think they're gonna stay together.
I think I'm gonna go out.
But they can't even just stay together.
They have to get
accept
engaged.
The proposal.
They have to get engaged. So I think Caleb is gonna say no.
Yeah, if they were just continuing dating, I could see them staying together, but I don't think Caleb's gonna propose.
No.
Him getting back with Mariah did not help their relationship at all. What about Zaina and JR?
I think they get together.
I think so too. I think Zaina has come back to their relationship really on top of her shit. She's giving it her all. She's doing her big one.
Zaina did this experience and took that back to JR. She had that conversation being like, I want to know more about your childhood. Doing the balloons for his birthday, even though it wasn't his birthday yet.
Yeah, he just needs to get over the titty blindness. He needs
Get
to
over
cure
the
for
titty
the titty
blindness.
blindness, and he needs to go back to his normal life.
Nick and Sandy.
Absolutely fucking not.
Yeah.
I think that she is so icked and creeped out. Even her family was like not feeling Nick.
Yeah, I think if she was smart, I think she would say no.
Period. Well, we are very excited to see what goes down on the finale. We'll see if our predictions are correct.
We're gonna be probably mid-move.
I know.
So,
Our final recap is going to be surrounded by boxes. I'm very excited about it, but we will be back.
we will be back and we'll see if these predictions hold up.
Thank you so much for watching. Comment down below your opinions on everything that we said. Do you like these recaps? Do you like Will? Do you hate Will? Don't let us know about what you think of me. Just him.
We all love Bria.
Unless it's positive. Like this video, subscribe, follow me on TikTok. We'll see if that's around in a month. And we'll catch you for the next recap. Deuces. Usually you say deuces.